I'll share the slides now, Chloe, and then feel free to make a start when you're ready.
Thanks, Hannah. I can do. Okay, so I think we should get started. Thank you for everyone for attending. My name's Chloe Rich, and I'm the Butterfly Volunteer Coordinator here at the Trust. So our Butterfly volunteers are specially trained volunteers who provide support to our patients and their loved ones at the patient for patients that are nearing the end of their lives. So we offer one-to-one support. This could be compassionate listening, it could be providing comfort and companionship. Some of these very small tasks can make an incredible difference to the patients and their loved ones' experiences. So our Butterfly volunteers assist in a really varied way, and no two visits will ever be the same. This could be a simple task such as making a loved one a cup of tea or coffee. It could be providing a listening ear to patients or their visitors, possibly providing respite to families who need a break away from the bedside, arranging car parking permits so our visitors here to patients at the end of their lives are eligible for free parking. So our Butterfly volunteers are often administrating that for them. So that's a load that's taken off of their shoulders. It could be advocating for the patient and the family. Often families feel that they can ask us questions that they might feel are pestering questions for the staff. And because we're there solely to just talk and listen, they feel able to ask these questions. Our Butterfly volunteers will be able to advocate for them, find a member of staff that's able to assist and answer the question, and liaise in ensuring these questions are answered. It could be signposting to other available support within the trust. So as you can see, we do a wide variety of things, and we never know what's going to be needed. Thank you. So our Butterfly Volunteer Service launched here in PAH in November 2017. The service was launched with the support of the Anne Robson Trust, and they used PAH as their flagship hospital. The Anne Robson Trust continues to support us in delivering our service. However, we are developing the service so it best suits our patients and our visitors. The Anne Robson Trust are working to introduce Butterfly volunteers in multiple trusts across the UK, most recently Birmingham and the Chelsea and Westminster. So a few facts and figures about the impact our service has had. So we've supported a total of 1,355 patients since November 17, making 4,199 visits. This makes a total of 2,043 hours and 46 minutes at the bedside. So you can imagine the difference that this time has made. So I'm going to pass over to one of our Butterfly volunteers, Melanie, who is going to chat with you about the difference that we make and talk specifically about a recent experience. It won't let me.
I think you might be on mute, Melanie.
That's better. Hello, I'm Melanie Hollinshead. I've been in this role for sort of 3.5 to 4 years. As Chloe said in her introduction, we support both the visitors and the patient, obviously the patient first, but I hadn't appreciated at first just how much the support of the visitor matters to the patient, because if we can make life a little easier in a difficult time for the visitor, the family member usually, then it becomes easier for them to spend real quality time, focused and really present with their loved ones. So the visit that I guess covered most of the points, the bullet points that Chloe mentioned, was one that happened quite recently. We have both first visits and second visit, and repeat visits. This happened to be a first visit. In other words, the patient was newly declared end of life. So this is the first time that she'd encountered one of us. So I explained what it is we did, and I did notice as I spoke that she looked totally exhausted. So the first thing I did was to offer her a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And she said, well, kind of no thank you, because she'd really kind of had enough of hospital beverages. And she explained that, in fact, although her husband was newly on this ward, he had been in the hospital for 90 days. And that that in that time, it had been particularly tough, because not only had she been with him kind of day and night for 90 days, she'd also had experienced the death of both her mother and her father, one either side of Christmas. So it had been a really tough time. So again, I said, well, gosh, how about taking a break now while I sit with your husband? And she said, no, thank you. She was fine. She was fine. So I said, well, how about just popping down to Costa and getting a different kind of cup of coffee, since you're tired of our beverages? And she said, no, thank you, really, she wouldn't. And it came out that not only did she not want to go, she couldn't actually afford it. And it seemed that for the past 90 days, she had been eating at, takeaways from Costa, and she'd simply run out of money. So I said, well, surely at some point somebody has offered you food here. She said, oh, yes, she had had a breakfast at one point. I actually suspect, we don't know as volunteers what it is that's brought a patient into the hospital. I suspect that he had had COVID and he'd been in ICU, and I suspect that that's why she hadn't been offered meals, but she hadn't apparently. So I said, well, just give me a couple of minutes, let me see what I can do. So off I went to find the ward manager and asked if it was possible for her to have meals when the patients had meals, and she said yes, of course. And I also asked permission to go and, well, basically fridge raid, see what I could find in the kitchen. And I found quite a decent amount of food. I went back to her and I said, look, this is what I've got. I'm going to suggest now that I take this to the quiet room and you have half an hour. And I will sit with your husband. He'll be perfectly safe with me. And I know where you are if I need you. And that's what happened. And I have to say that after the half hour, she came back and she looked like a different woman. She really did look like she'd had a bit of a break. So this is just a small example of where just a little bit of help to the visitors can actually make quite a big difference. And a big difference too to the person that they're supporting. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Melanie. So just hearing from Melanie about the story that she's given, as she said, the patient had been with us a total of 90 days. And as a service, we had only supported them for an hour and a half. This 1 hour and a half made such a difference to the family that they have recently been in contact and have made a donation to the service in memory of their husband. So it really was heartwarming to know the difference that we were able to make. So next up is going to be Karen. Karen is a butterfly volunteer here with us at PAH, but she is also a volunteer for the Anne Robson Trust on their volunteer helpline. So she's going to talk to us a little bit about her experience and what the helpline does.
Hi everybody, I joined PAH as a volunteer in 2015. In 2017, I began my role as a butterfly, which I saw as a new challenge and a way of making a difference to the patients who are end of life. It is a privilege, also very humbling, and a great honour to be present at this very private time. We get to make a difference and do anything we can to help the patient have a better death, to change the experience for everyone involved. I feel it's a way of giving something back to society. You can never outgive as it gives so much in return. Sometimes the patient will talk to us or me about things they can't talk to their loved ones about. Not only are we there for the patient, but also we support the loved ones. As well as my role as a butterfly, I also work as a call handler on the recently launched Anne Robson Trust helpline, which was set up as a way people with a diagnosis of terminal illness or their loved ones can easily access. This gives a valuable phone line where they are able to discuss everything and anything they need to talk about. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. So as Rachel has said, the helpline was launched by last year, and it's available for people who are facing the end of life, who may be feeling isolated and alone. So the helpline is there for them to call and have a chat over the phone with a volunteer who is able to support them. So moving on, I'd like to chat quickly about the Butterfly Hub. So some of you might have noticed that there's some building work that has been going on the lower ground floor opposite the sanctuary. In 2020, the Trust were really lucky to receive a donation of £50,000 a grant of £50,000 from NHS Charities Together. This has funded the build of our Butterfly Hub. So our hub will be a calming environment available to the loved ones of our patients who are dying in the Trust. We're hoping that this space will give people some time away from the bedside so they don't feel like they're in a hospital. It'll be calm, where they can come sit and chat to a volunteer or just take some time alone to rest, while not being too far from their loved ones. The Butterfly volunteers will always be on hand to provide emotional support to the families and their friends, able to answer any questions or address any fears they may have. So the Butterfly volunteer service will be moving into the hub later this month, with the hopes of launching the hub to the relatives and loved ones of our dying patients soon. We're just waiting on some delivery of some furniture before that can be launched. So it's really exciting and will really change the experience of our loved ones at the bedside. If we take the case study that Melanie used, for example, this lady would have been able to take that time away from the ward, relax, take a moment to not feel like she's in that clinical environment, recoup, and then take herself back. So we're really excited and we can't wait for this service to be launched. Now, some of the literature from our service that you guys might see on some of our wards. So here on the screen is our butterfly visit card. So these cards are left at the bedsides of all of our patients that we visit. And inside the card, the family have the opportunity to write some information about the patient that might be good for us to know. So for example, if the patient really likes gardening or golf, they could pop that in there and it would give some subject topics for our butterflies to use to chat with the patient. After every visit, a butterfly completes this card just to let the family know that someone has been with them. These are really important in making sure the family are aware of the support that we're providing, and quite often causes relief in the family because they know that someone's been there even if they haven't been able to visit. Next are the butterfly stickers. So these are completed by the butterflies, who then give the sticker to a member of staff on the ward. These are to be entered into the patient notes. Again, this is so that a patient is aware that the care team is aware that a volunteer has visited and are able to keep the family updated. Some other initiatives that the Butterfly Volunteer Service are supporting are our memory boxes. So our memory boxes were launched by our palliative care team and currently sit on the wards. The Butterfly volunteers are going to take over the administration of these. So these are boxes that contain lots of items that the Butterfly volunteers will be able to support the family and the patients in providing there's equipment in there that would support the taking and collection of locks of hair, small jewellery boxes for the safekeeping of sentimental items, matching soft loves hearts. So during the pandemic, lots of people donated knitted or crochet love hearts that matched. One of these love hearts will remain with the patient, and the other will return to the loved one for them to cherish. So these are just a few ways that we as a service can support the family in keeping these small mementos of their loved one. Comfort packs. So again, unfortunately, comfort packs stopped during the pandemic, but it is something that we are now bringing back. So comfort packs are available for the loved ones who are staying at the bedside. Quite often we find the families of our loved ones do stay in shifts kind of overnight and remain with their family members 24/7. These comfort packs contain small items that will help support their comfort during that stay. So these could be toothbrushes and toothpaste, tissues, mints, mouthwash and wipes. Once the Butterfly Hub is launched and open to the public, these items and comfort packs will also be kept there, so they can come down and get one. The ward staff can ring us and we'll bring one up, or we can deliver one during our visits. We're hoping also to have a lot more smaller items there that people might find useful to making their visit a little bit more comfortable. So, has anybody got any questions about the Butterfly Volunteer Service or the Hub? Yeah, Finola?
Sorry, I couldn't get to my hand button quick enough.
That's okay.
I was going to ask, thank you, Karen and Melissa, as well, for the presentation. With our patients, how long are some of them with us? So how long would your involvement be?
That's fair. So quite often our involvement isn't for very long. So our patients are generally on our list in the last days to hours of their life. However, this isn't the only situation that we see. So recently, we have seen and supported a patient for over 3 weeks. So it would really depend on the patient's circumstances and whether or not they're being discharged to hospice or home to die, or they're going to remain in our care. So
Thanks,
yeah, very
Chloe.
varied. That's all right. Thanks, Vanessa. I don't think we've got any other hands up. So if there aren't any other questions, please always feel free to contact me. As a Butterfly coordinator, I always take referrals for patients that are patients that are dying, and we're always able to bring up any comfort packs or assist in any questions about support that's available for our patients and their loved ones at the end of their life. Shahid snuck in there with his hand up.
I know. Sorry, I thought I'd
That's
just
all
keep you
right.
here just for a couple of minutes more. I was just going to say, with regard to the Butterfly Hub, how can our nursing clinical colleagues get involved in that? Because clearly there's an opportunity there for connection and supporting families better. What would they need to do?
Perfect. Thanks, Shahid. So once we're launching the service and it's open to the public, we will be having some open days. So our nursing and clinical colleagues can come down and have a look at the services that we have there and are able to provide. And we will be able to discuss the services that we're able to refer people to do, or what we can help in. I will be coming out to meet some of the staff on the wards and do small sessions on what the hub is, what support we provide, and who will fit into the criteria of people that we're able to support effectively. This week, I will also be on a stall outside the canteen. That will be tomorrow and Thursday. If people have any individual questions that they feel that they can't ask here, or anything that comes up that you might want to come and ask, the Butterfly team are running a bake sale tomorrow 10 till 4 outside the canteen. This money will support the items for our memory boxes and comfort packs. So please feel free to come along and buy all the delicious bakes.
I can imagine Melanie must make some amazing lemon drizzle cake or something like that.
There's going to be
Looking forward
lots
to it.
there.
Have comms advertised that?
I don't. I'm as of yet. I don't think so, but it has all been
Oh.
booked via comms.
Okay, we need to get them advertising it.
So get the
So people
word
bring their
out.
pennies.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Fantastic. Thank you. I have no other questions, Chloe.
Please do let me know.